Test case management support is provided by a couple of project templates. To manage all activities across different team roles, we recommend instantiating your projects from one of the ALM project templates. For standalone test case projects, you can take a look at the QA project template, which supports only test case management. We have a tutorial on creating projects, so we won't cover the whole process here. We'll assume your development team has created a project based on an ALM project template. We've skipped ahead and created the project, defined the users, and so on, so let's briefly look at the main features you'll be working with. Here's the default project homepage. It provides links to two main spaces that are of interest to QA. Specification, where requirements or user stories are defined, and testing, where test cases are specified and test runs are created and executed. We'll look at these in more detail. Before we do, it's worth noting the work item types configured in the project. Notice there's a type called test case. You'll create work items of this type for each of your test cases. The project template provides a sample test case, which is written up in a test case specification document located in the testing space. We'll be talking more about that too. It's worth noting at this point that the project is pre-configured with a typical workflow for testing activities. Here we see the actions that can be taken at this point in the workflow. Keep in mind that workflow can be customized. We have another tutorial on how to do that in case our out-of-box process doesn't quite fit yours. As a tester, you'll need to link test cases to requirements, so you should know where to look for those. The template creates the specification space where your analysts or requirements engineers can create requirements or user stories. Requirements, user stories, or your equivalent may be defined in a document like this one, or directly in the integrated tracker located in the Work Items topic of navigation. You'll of course need to learn where to find them in your actual projects. For this tutorial, we'll focus on the document approach. You'll probably work mostly in the testing space. Its homepage provides a nice overview of where things stand with testing in your project. The project template provides a placeholder document that you can use to write up your test cases. If you have existing test cases written up in Word, you can import the document into Polarion, creating test case work items which you can then link to requirements and include in test runs. We have a separate tutorial on importing Word docs, so we won't detail it here, just make you aware of the possibility. The Testing Space homepage provides two templates you can use to create test runs. A test run basically is a record of an execution of your tests and the results. The full test run executes all active test cases in your test case specification document. The smoke test run executes those test cases in your spec document having the value smoke set in the test case's severity field. Let's now look briefly at writing up a test specification. You can use the integrated tracker to create and write up your test case work items, but we recommend using our LiveDoc documents because there's practically no learning curve. All you need to know in Polarion is how to mark some of your document content as a test case work item and how to link it to a requirement. Here's some content that has already been marked as a test case. You can tell by the icon in the gray border on the left. You can access some of the key tracker fields and view any links by looking at the work item properties. To create a new test case from part of your document content, just select it, mark it, and save the document. You can learn more about working with documents in our tutorial video on documents, but this is basically all you need to do to get going. Let's look now at linking a test case to a requirement. The easiest way to do linking is to open your test case specification document in one browser tab and the document containing requirements in another tab. Let's say that this test case verifies a requirement in the requirement specification document, so you go find it in that document. Use the menu on the requirements icon to copy its ID. Then flip back to your test case, and in the work item properties, paste the link and specify the relationship to the requirement, in this case, verifies. Save the document and you've got traceability between test case and requirement. That's it for Part 1 on test case management. In Part 2, we'll show you how to define test runs, execute tests, and track results. If you have comments or questions about this part, let us know at info@polarion.com.